Cassie, thank you. The Association of Central Oklahoma Governments declared today as Ozone Alert Day. That's here in Oklahoma. Right now, smoke from hundreds of Canadian wildfires that you mentioned there are drifting across the border into the U.S., prompting air quality alerts for millions of Americans, including here at home. Doctors say exposure to elevated pollution levels can affect the lungs and the heart. And due to those wildfires, the FAA says it has slowed air traffic in the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic as the region deals with heavy smoke. Many schools in the area canceled outdoor activities, and the New York Yankees and Philadelphia Phillies have postponed games, all due to the air quality.
We have never seen over the past 2 decades PM 2.5 levels like they are in New York City. We're seeing air quality levels that are 3 to 5 times higher than that national limit.
Health officials say people should stay indoors as much as possible. And the most vulnerable people are young children, the elderly, and anyone with pre-existing heart or lung conditions such as asthma or COPD. Well, the city of Oklahoma City reminding residents that it is illegal to drain your pool into creeks or storm drains. It says the chemicals can harm the biological communities as fish cannot tolerate that rapid change. Instead, you can drain pool water directly into the sanitary sewer, or make sure to dechlorinate your pool by letting it remain untreated for about 7 to 10 days and then test chlorine levels before draining. You can also drain it on the grass in your yard. In May, 339,000 jobs were added to the American economy. That's according to the report by the U.S. Department of Labor. The report goes on to say this is further confirmation that the economy is in a steady growth and that the month's 3.7 unemployment rate and is the longest period of the sub 4% unemployment since the 1960s. The Mustang Animal Welfare Center says it will be closed again due to respiratory outbreak, and it plans to reopen on June 20th. This announcement comes just days after the Oklahoma City Animal Welfare closed for the same reason. And the Oklahoma City shelter says about 130 dogs are showing symptoms prompting that closure. The Mustang shelter has not yet released its number of infected. Well, Oklahoma City police say they were responding to about 18 overdose calls in the month of May. The department says it had to administer Narcan 27 times to reverse the impact of overdoses. The Oklahoma Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services provides the Narcan, and you can receive a free dose of the reversal drug on the Department of Health's website. TV evangelist Pat Robertson has died at the age of 93. Robertson was the founder of the Christian Broadcasting Network and hosted the 700 Club for 60 years, where he provided prayer and political commentary. Robertson died at his home in Virginia Beach this morning. Well, French police are investigating a stabbing attack at a playground this morning that left 2 children and 1 adult in critical condition. Investigators say among the 5 injured, a child as young as 1 attacked there. Witnesses said at least 1 child involved was in a stroller.
It's a horror beyond belief, and it changes everything in an instant.
Officials say this attack was carried out by a Syrian national with legal refugee status in France. And when the news broke, the French parliament stopped a national debate and held a minute of silence. Witnesses say they heard distressing screams from parents and young victims on that playground. Investigators are now trying to find a motive for this shocking rampage. Heartbreaking news there. An official in Ukraine's Ministry of Defense says some of the country's forces have gone from the defensive to the offensive, an admission that Ukraine has launched an initiative to retake land currently being held by Russian forces. This comes as Ukraine is still dealing with the devastating flood caused by an attack on a dam in the southern part of the country. Natalie Brand has more details from Washington.
The opening phases of the long-awaited Ukrainian counteroffensive is underway. Russia's military is reporting heavy fighting in the Zaporizhia region, the area connecting Russia to Crimea. Britain's defense ministry says fighting continues along multiple sectors of the front, with Ukrainian forces appearing to make progress.
The fighting has hampered efforts to rescue people from the flooding caused by this week's explosion at the Novokakhovka Dam.
Ukraine's president, who toured the devastation, is calling for a faster international response to help the thousands impacted. Drones dropped bottles of drinking water to people stranded in their homes, while soldiers and volunteers worked around the clock to rescue those trapped by the floodwaters. Natalie Brandt, CBS News, Washington.
Coming up, Dr. Lacey Anderson tells us how electric shock is being used to treat kidney stones. Plus, we'll tell you how research is saying insomnia could be associated with a higher stroke risk. Plus, how a nonprofit is fighting to prevent drowning this summer. It's all up next.
In 1945, during a big stakes game of dice, Cattleman's Steakhouse was wagered for a hard 6. With one roll of the dice, Cattleman's had a new owner. Today, the only big steaks you'll find at Cattleman's are the steaks we serve perfect every time.
Are you suffering from neuropathy? Do you experience stabbing pain, numbness, tingling, or burning in your feet? Are you tired of sleepless nights and avoiding life due to pain? If you've been diagnosed with neuropathy or are experiencing pain or numbness in your feet, pick up the phone and call us right now before it's too late. Neuropathy is a very serious and progressive disease where your nerves start to break down. Eventually, it leads to balance problems, falls, complete loss of independence, and often amputation. Our program addresses the underlying causes and doesn't simply mask your symptoms with medication. In fact, many patients start experiencing relief from their neuropathy symptoms within weeks. There's no surgery and no use of prescription drugs. Pick up the phone right now and call the number on your screen to find out if you're a candidate for our neuropathy program that has changed thousands of lives. You don't have to spend another day suffering. Call us today and see if you qualify for the relief you deserve. Do not wait. Call now.
Hi, I'm Sean O'Connor. You've heard the old saying, a picture's worth 1,000 words. Watch closely. Watch the competitor suspension on the left and Ferris's on the right. Same course, same speed. Watch Ferris's patented four-wheel suspension absorb the rough terrain, delivering a smooth ride and a manicured cut. Watch again as the competitor's suspension struggles, bouncing and bucking on the uneven terrain. For a guaranteed low price and award-winning service, shop O'Connor's by Quail Springs Mall.
Everyone wants more for their money. At Galleria, you get it. With low payments on comfortable living room furniture. Buy local and save at Galleria Furniture and Mattress Outlet.
Kindness, generosity, happiness.
Great things happen every single day.
Stories of Oklahomans making our state better. See Something Good. Brought to you by First Fidelity Bank. Weeknights at 6, only on Oklahoma's own News 9.
Shop hot deals for Dad at Academy Sports and Outdoors. Get up to $300 off pools and patio sets. Take up to $100 off grills and take 20% off coolers. Shop in-store or online for great brands at the best prices. Deals end Sunday.
A classic Oklahoma cattle drive. No cowboy hats, no rhinestones. Just two proud ranchers rounding up their own cattle. At Cattleman's Steakhouse, we honor our legacy by serving the same perfect American steak.
Well, we're back with a warning for parents as we start summer. Nearly 400 children die every year from drowning in pools and spas. CBS News' Michael George speaks with one mother fighting to prevent more of these tragedies.
Shazak Sonoda went through a heartbreak no mother should experience.
He was just full of joy and energy.
In 2018, her 3-year-old son Yori drowned in a backyard pool.
When you lose a child this way, it's incredibly painful and challenging to talk about. Oftentimes, at least in my case, there was something that I could have done to save my child, and it just didn't end up working out that way.
Sonoda founded No More Under, a nonprofit dedicated to preventing child drowning deaths. A new government report finds an average of 371 children drown every year in pools and spas.
Are many of these tragedies preventable?
Drownings are 100% preventable.
Sonoda says parents need to learn CPR and make sure they and their children know how to swim. Also, prepare before going to the pool.
Know if there's lifeguards, take a life jacket. Do they have life jackets?
Alex Hohenserek, chair of the Consumer Product Safety Commission, warns parents to keep their eyes on their kids.
We like to say have a designated water watcher. It's an adult who is focused on the kids, not reading a book or looking at the phone.
A little preparation can make sure every child has a safe summer. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
Well, rain and storms are still possible today, and we could see more of the same as we get into the weekend. We're going to talk about when we have a higher threat of seeing severe weather coming up from the Bob Mills Weather Center.
Plus, we'll tell you about one of Industry Magazine's coolest film festivals in the world. It's right after the break.
Bob Mills Sky News 9 in HD, brought to you by Bob Mills Furniture.
Suntech AC tune-up, do it. 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 Suntech tune-up, do it.
It seems like life is getting a little bit busier every day. And because of this, we seem to be losing those important personal connections that are so vital with family and friends. It's time to get those connections back again by spending more quality time together. And a pool or hot tub from Country Leisure is a wonderful way to do just that. Call Country Leisure today and reconnect with those you care about.
For over 40 years, Harry's TV and Appliances has been serving you. Come see our savings on Whirlpool, Maytag, and KitchenAid appliances. With incredible pricing, it's a great time to update your kitchen for the summer. Our friendly, knowledgeable sales staff will help you find the product that fits your needs. And save on all Whirlpool and Maytag washers, dryers, and dishwashers with prices slashed throughout the store. When you shop at Harry's TV,
you also get Harry and Josh's friend.
When you shop at Harry's TV, you also get Harry as a friend.
The dessert dilemma, ice cream or cookies? At Brahms, we say both. Introducing Brahms new Cookie Sundaes, made with Brahms signature ice creams and freshly baked cookies. Triple chocolate almond with mint chocolate chip ice cream. Peanut butter chocolate chunk with fudge. M&M with chocolate and vanilla ice cream. And oatmeal raisin with caramel. At Brahms, ice cream and cookies just make sense.
I struggled with CPAP every night. But now that I got the Inspire implant to treat my sleep apnea, I'm sleeping much better. In fact, it's making me think of doing other things I've been putting off.
Oh, like removing the tattoo of your first wife's name.
But your mom's name's Vicky, too.
That's even worse.
Inspire, sleep apnea innovation. Learn more and view important safety information at inspiresleep.com.
Suntech AC tune-up, do it. 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 Suntech tune-up, do it.
I'm a very curious person. I wake up every morning asking what's happening in the world, why is this happening, and how do we answer that question on the CBS Evening News. Why did you want to share your story?
Water up this high last night?
Where are these coming from?
That's the million-dollar question.
How are you doing?
I'm hanging in there.
You'll have to tell him when he gets older, when you were 2 months old.
He was on the news.
The news doesn't have to always be depressing. It can be uplifting.
It's just begun.
This is Oklahoma's own News 9.
Well, next week, the Yukon Fire Department will be hosting a car seat checkup event for new parents and families in the area. This is so important. The event will be Wednesday, June 12th from 1 to 4. There are a limited number of discounted car seats that will also be on hand for purchase. For more information, visit news9.com. Also happening this weekend, you'll have a chance to explore the Mother Road during the Route 66 Triple Tour at stops in War Acres, Bethany, and Yukon. Now, at each of those stops, you can collect stamps on your Triple Tour passport and be entered to win prizes and gift cards from local businesses. This all starts at 9 on Saturday. We've posted a list of the events on our website. The 23rd Annual Dead Center Film Fest kicks off today and is expected to bring in more than 20,000 people. Industry Magazine calls it one of the top 20 coolest film festivals in the world. To purchase tickets, visit deadcenterfilm.org or check out the News 9 app. Always a good time with that as well. Hopefully the weather will allow people to get out and hit the pool this weekend. I feel like it's been raining and summer's gonna be over before it really gets started.
I know, you have to be very strategic about it.
Yes.
Earlier in the day, we
While
usually
we're
have
working.
more sun. Yes, that's how it goes. But this weekend, I think that we do have at least a chance of seeing some more dry hours, okay?
Awesome.
So it's just, the pattern really hasn't changed a whole lot. It looks like it's gonna adjust a little bit though, this weekend. And just like yesterday, I mean, we had our storm trackers out. We also have Jim Gardner and Bob Mills Sky News 9. Marty Logan was on the ground. And yeah, you could see those storms that were just kind of popping up anywhere they wanted across the state. And a lot of these were taking place just here in central Oklahoma. He started out in Hinton. That's where we had one of the strongest storms in central Oklahoma. It was not severe, but certainly producing some very heavy rainfall, some gusty winds, and even some very small hail at times. But yeah, kind of a cool shot there from, again, Jim Gardner, Bob Mills, Sky News 9, but Marty Logan, he was also on the ground, and he just was starting to get some torrential rainfalls in parts of northwest Oklahoma. But you can see, yeah, all that rain just rushing down to the ground. Let's go ahead and go to Links 1. I'm going to show you what we've been looking like rain-wise. So just over the past week, okay, we've seen almost 3/4 of an inch of rain here in Oklahoma City, but most of the rain has fallen in the west and northwest, and this is the spot where they've needed it the most. So this is the latest drought monitor that has come out today, and we're seeing some significant improvements in western and northwest Oklahoma. It's certainly not out of the drought by any means, but here's the thing. Now we're starting to add a little bit more of the drought to just south and east of I-44. So that's trying to come back, because right now we've basically made a shift where the storm chances seem to be highest out west and a lot less off to the east. Now this morning we did have a couple of storms in the far southwest. A lot of that's gone away, so things are pretty quiet. And that boundary in the northeast, that could be a focal point for some more storms here later this afternoon and early evening. But in the meantime, it is crystal clear out there. This is our Integris camera, part of our Lucky Star Sky Cam network. 83 degrees, a very light wind right now. Temperatures in the low to upper 80s across the north, and where we still have some cloud cover from the storms earlier this morning, temperatures only in the upper 70s in the southwest. Most of us have a kind of a wind coming in out of the south to southeast between about 5 to 10 miles an hour. Now in western Oklahoma right now, that wind, at least in southwest Oklahoma, is coming in out of the northwest. But this boundary again could be a focal point for a couple of showers and storms, a little bit better coverage in northeast Oklahoma here later this afternoon. But still, any one spot in the state overall has a low chance of seeing some storms. So a lot like yesterday, but today it does look a little bit drier, so we should see fewer, but there's still a chance anywhere in the state. Now, as we get into Friday, kind of the same setup. I do think chance will be a little bit highest off to the east, but as we get into tomorrow night to early Saturday morning, a stronger wave is going to move through, and that's going to give a much higher chance of seeing some widespread showers and storms across the state. And then right now, a lot of the data, as long as we can get all these storms to move in by Friday night and Saturday morning, it should wash us out for Saturday. So that would lead to a much drier Saturday afternoon. But some data still says maybe a couple of storms pop up later in the afternoon and evening. So we'll see how tomorrow night goes and what that will mean for the weekend. Today, though, looking for a high of about 89 degrees in Oklahoma City, the mid to upper 80s across the west, but 90 there in Altus, 87 later today in Lawton. And again, this afternoon, the highest chance of rain and storms will be in the far northeast where that boundary is, but the rest of us, about a 10 to 20% chance of an isolated shower or storm. Temperatures drop down into the mid and upper 60s overnight tonight with a few passing clouds, but dry. Tomorrow afternoon, we're going to be back in the upper 80s for most of us, but low to mid 90s across the far south and southeast, about 94 down there in Durant. Tomorrow afternoon and evening, still any one spot has a slight chance of rain and storms. We've got about 20 to 30 across the far east, but I think late tomorrow evening, those shower and storm chances will be picking up in the panhandle. Tomorrow night to Saturday morning, I think it's looking a lot more likely that we will have some widely scattered showers and storms as that wave makes its way through the state, and any one of those storms will have a low threat of becoming severe. We could see up to golf ball size hail and wind gusts of 65 miles an hour, but I think that would be very isolated. As we get into Saturday morning into early Saturday afternoon, that severe threat will shift to the south and east where the storm chances will be highest. So right now, I'm going only with about a 20% chance here in Oklahoma City that we could be dodging some showers during the day on Saturday. Afternoon temperatures will be in the low 80s here in Oklahoma City, the 70s in the northeast, where I think the rain's going to hold on just a little bit longer. And then as we get into Sunday afternoon, a slight chance of storms, but looking dry at least for now for most of us on Monday.
All right, I'm making those weekend plans already.
Yes.
Thanks, Cass. After the break, we're answering your questions about the